Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Mech Merlin stream. Hopefully, everyone is doing great today. Tonight, we are building the soon-to-enter group by TKD Cycle 8, which I just received from Click-Clack. It is their TKL offering. If you guys were around about a year ago when the Cycle 7 first came out, I'm expecting it to be more or less the same, with hopefully better PCB design. Apparently, that's been something people have been complaining about in the last couple months. Personally, I have not had any issues with my Cycle 7, but knock on wood, right? Knock on wood. The TKD Cycle 8 looks pretty similar to the Cycle 7 if you ask me, just with the addition of that F-row. But yeah, it comes in several different colorways, as you guys can see on the screen. First and foremost, it is $155. You have your selection of different weights, stainless steel brushed and polished. You can do a brushed PVD, polished PVD gold. You can get, just a bunch of different options here. Also, this only comes in F12 layout, no F13 key, but you can choose between Win key and Win keyless, and you have your choice with lighting sweeps as well. I did get a soldered PCB, which I'm, to be honest, a little bit disappointed in. I've been really enjoying hot swaps, because if the board doesn't sound good during my first build, it's a lot easier to build. But the biggest reason why I'm upset that it's a soldered board is because it is 93 degrees here in Seattle, and soldering on a hot day like this is just worse. It's just the worst. For a $155 board, it comes in amazing packaging. Here's the box that it comes in, and it's not just a padded box, because once you do open it, once you get the box open, it comes in a nice carrying case. In fact, if you had the Cycle 7 from a year ago, it's a very similar looking case, but this one is a lot more padded. And like I said earlier, mine is the cream version. And thank God they give me a Win key version, simply because I'm Win key all the way. This looks like rock, says Roland Dave. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's probably the closer one. Yeah, in different lighting, it definitely looked more like cream to me. This is the secondary box that it came with, labeled accessories. And yeah, here is the soldered PCB. Case foam, plate foam, the plate itself. Apparently it's a PC plate, some PE foam, stabilizers. I am actually using OwlLab stabs for this build, so I would rather use stabs that I know work well on a soldered build. Additional feet, additional screws, additional daughter board, which is not of the C3 or C4 variant, and what seems to be gaskets. Oh, beans, or what they call beans. I am choosing to build this board tonight with JWK Yellow linear switches. This one comes with a polycarb top housing, nylon PA66 bottom housing, palm stem, 65G spring, regular spring. Let's put on some stabs. And great, I forgot to take out the plate. Me with 3 rattly Durock V2 stabs. Yeah, dude. Like the early ones, when they were first like a thing, when they first started making stabs, they were great. They were like the stab to get. But then they also didn't have any other competition other than like Cherry and the Zeal stabs. The Zeal stabs were like triple the price for not triple the performance. Okay, where's that plate? Here it is. Plate. And do I want to put plate foam? This is literally one of those things I can't undo because it's a soldered build. What do you guys think? Should I build this with plate foam? Or is just the PE foam enough? Yeah, once I solder in that first switch, there's no going back. And we are done. Let's make sure all my joints look good before we move on. And even better, make sure I didn't miss any joint. We are good. I can finally turn off this blasted soldering iron. So now I gotta make sure I can remove the excess flux. For those of you curious as to what I'm doing, whenever you solder, there is some flux residue that lingers around each of the joints. It's really hard to avoid, you know, but it usually occurs when too much temperature is used, you put your soldering tip too long on it, and the flux just kind of pools a little bit around each of the joints. And the reason why I'm cleaning it off is because over time, this flux residue can lead to corrosion. I'm not saying that if you don't clean it off, you'll have a dead keyboard within a week, but it's one of those things that can happen. Does it matter what percent alcohol to use to clean the flux? I use 99%. Why do I have 99%? Because I bought a whole bunch during COVID and I have not gone through all of it. But anything 70 and above should be fine. So one drawback to what I'm doing though, unfortunately, is what I'm doing here is I'm breaking up the solder, the flux. But by cleaning it like this, I actually end up spreading the flux residue across the board. So instead of it being pooled, concentrated in different spots, it's now thinly spread all over the board, which some could argue actually leads to more corrosion. But what I typically do after this is then I take like a Q-tip and I do the same thing and I just clean it as thoroughly as I can. But I am of the belief that thinly spread flux has less oxidization chance than having it concentrated at each of the legs. Okay, I think that should be good enough. Okay, what's next? We need to take apart the board. Is TKL your preferred layout? Says Roland Dave 94. No, my preferred layout is 75%. And F-rollless TKL, actually, like the TKD Cycle 7. TKD Cycle 7, guys. See? So now we gotta put in all the different parts. Okay, we need to put the case foam in, all right. Then screws, and yeah, the built-in stabs, and the O-rings. Okay. Bump-ons, and the beam. Okay. So like I said earlier, it does come with the fancy case. For reference, this is the Cycle 7 case. This guy is a lot more padded. Like this thing right here, that thing is well shielded. This guy's pretty thin here. So better protection all the way through. But other than that, it looks about the same. Oh, it's also a different material. This one's smoother, this one's more textured. I definitely prefer this material and this build over the original Cycle 7 case. There we go. The rock colored Cycle 8. Real pretty colorway. Yeah, see that? Looks pretty neat. See, we can probably start by putting the feet on first. We can take apart the board. See, how do we take it apart? We have, oh yeah, the thing with the, it pops off just like that. Tear it open like Christmas. Woo! Yeah, that definitely feels like E-coat. Yep, that's E-coat. Like I said, we are gonna put the feet on first. While I'm putting on these last feet, let's take a look at Lunar and Metal. Lunar. Lunar kind of looks like rock, and Metal. I would go with Lunar. Okay, looks like I have 2 extra feet, or 2 extra bump-ons, what they call it. Metal can turn into gunmetal, blue to dark gray, depending on how light hits it, which is beautiful. Okay. Forgot how it goes, but I think it just pops off, if I'm not mistaken. There it is, yep. Super convenient. And then we want to put this guy on. I always forget, is it shiny side down, or... I think it's shiny side down, because based on the openings. There's multiple ways to build this board, but I like the bump on approach. Makes it super easy. So it kind of looks like a miniature bullet here. You want the bullet head to be facing down. Okay, and with that said, you get to put in the ribbon cable. I hate ribbon cable because I always don't know which way it goes. But I'm going to assume that you want the black part, the solid black, facing down. There we go, confirmation. Does it type? Oh gosh. I was trying to type in hello, instead I typed in help. The top cover does have some form of what do you call this? Insulation? Oh no, that's not the right word. Diffusion. That's the correct word. Okay, and then, like, I think this might be the better key set for it. What do you guys think? Yeah, actually, this is much better. Key set transfer. All right, Nor N1. You're gonna be sacrificed. See, Among says, hi friend, new to the channel. Is that Mercury? No, this is the soon to go into group buy TKD Cycle 8, retailing at $155. Depending on your configuration though, you could go up to $250. Yeah, check it out. I currently have ePBT by Babayin on it. Manikia says PSP. Here we go, here. Let me swap the... Here we go. Look at that. Yeah, thanks guys for recommending this set. I think this looks way better than Strawberry Milk, which is what I was gonna put on. Yeah, looks good. Looks very good. Well, let's do a typing test. All right, folks. Once again, this is the soon to go into group buy TKD Cycle 8 built with all the foams, and JWK Yellow switches topped with ePBT by Babayin. There we go. Typing test commence. Wow, with all the foams, it still clacks, absolutely. Listen up, folks, it's a very attractive build. I think it's very, very attractive too. Truly, one of the keyboards, nice. I did say earlier I was going to compare it with the TKD Cycle 7, which I have built. So the difference with this is it's using long pole switches and ABS keycaps. So they sound similar, but I feel like the Cycle 7 is more pronounced. But then again, I can attribute that to possibly the different switches. These are long pole switches. Yeah, in terms of practicality, because I do like tipping my boards around, I'll probably still be using this guy more. But in terms of like aesthetics, I think the Cycle 8, if you're going to display a key set, the TKL is the way to go. Let's see, C8 sound tests have been more muted compared to C7. One thing to note though is also that my Cycle 7 has long pole switches. Once you see a TKL, it pretty much looks like any other TKL. I have the Neo 80 and will be getting the C8, says Solaris. Opposing opinions with the same board, nice. Okay, so the Neo 80 is $140, about $15 cheaper at its base configuration. So yeah, choose whatever you want, I guess. Holding off on the C8 for the Spider. If my hands get itchy, maybe a C8 will show up at my house. Just randomly show up. Let's see, what's the Spider keyboard? Like a good Asian, I've also not removed the plastic. There you go, that's my Mr. Suit right there. Favorite TKL. So smooth. Yeah. See, it's definitely a higher angled board from what I can see here. But I will say from the top down, I do like the addition of this LED cluster here. The Mr. Suit does have an F13. I have casually hidden it with an Artisan, with the Mr. Suit Artisan, yeah. Yeah, this guy does not have an F13. The only configurations you can buy are either Win Key or Win Keyless. You like the Cycle 8 sound more? I still like the Mr. Suit sound more. Yeah, this is the board that won me over to TKL, to be honest. But yeah, we are We have finished building the TKD Cycle 8. Pretty much a Cycle 7, just in TKL form factor with that additional F-row. Couple initial thoughts about it before we end this stream. We are about 2 hours and 46 minutes in. First and foremost, the sound is not quite what I expected. My TKD Cycle 7 still sounded sharper, more marblier. I like to attribute that to my usage of switches. For the for the Cycle 7, I was using long pole switches, and for this guy, I was using the regular pole length switches. So that's another aspect of why it's not as sharp. Also, other people who have already typed on the Cycle 8 have said that in general, it doesn't sound as good. So that's one thing you guys have to factor in. This does go for $155, around the same price as the Cycle 7. The case that this comes with is also better materials and feels nicer to the touch. That could be purely subjective though. And what else? I've been told that they fixed the problems, the PCB problems that were persistent in the Cycle 7. All that is all taken care of in the Cycle 8. But of course, knock on wood. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty decent board. A couple of people in the stream did mention that they had a Neo 80 already, which is, I believe, one of its direct competitors. Very similar price point as well. It's going to be hard to tell which one is the better buy without having both of them built the exact same way. Of course, we've had other people who have, I think it was Solaris who said that they had a Neo 80 but still want to buy this board. Like I said, your mileage may vary. Neo 80 is indeed cheaper by $15 at its base. Is it more to entry or mid, says Fallerable? In this climate right now, I would say this is closer to mid. If we were talking like 2015, 2016, this would be like considered like a high-end board. I will say though that I noticed it right away. The anodization on my Cycle 7 looked nice, but the TKD E-coating I think is nicer. So if you care about finish, I would say try and go for the E-coated versions. They look really well done. Again, all subjective, so I will be getting a C8 anyway. Very cool. Anyway, we are at the 3-hour mark. I did mention that I really like 75%. So my next build will be a 75%. Canon Keys has given me the opportunity to build the plastic version of the Satisfaction 75. If you were with me when I built my own personal unit and several customer units, you know that I wasn't too thrilled about doing it. Hopefully my thoughts and opinions will change once I build the plastic one, but we'll see. That build will be occurring this coming Tuesday. In the meantime, hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye, everyone.